Legend Lil Wayne just dropped his highly anticipated album, The Carter VI, and he already has multiple tracks trending with just the audio, but one that really stood out to me was Sharks, featuring Big Sean and Jelly Roll. Lil Wayne and Big Sean are goats, man. I had to reload this one a few times. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make beats just like it, including the melody, bass, drums, mixing, arrangement, and more. I'm even going to show you one of my secret tools for bass, so make sure you stick around. Now let's get straight into it. Okay, so for the BPM, you want it somewhere around 130. I'm just using 132. And for the guitar, I'm going to go with electric sunburst. For the scale, you want to go with a minor scale. But instead of selecting minor natural, we're going to go minor harmonic. And F minor is the actual scale for Sharks, so we could start there. And the progression for Sharks is actually pretty simple, man. It just starts on the root note and then goes up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can use this as the foundation. We don't just want to straight up copy the melody, but we can use the same progression, but just build on it. So normally a F minor chord would look like this. We're just going to skip a note in the scale and skip another one. And then we'll do the same for this chord. Now to make it a bit more realistic, what we could do is take the bottom notes and invert these with Control and up, but still keep the root notes. So shift and click to copy and then Control and down. So now these chords sound like this. And so it doesn't sound so distorted, I'm going to bring the velocity of everything down. I'm just using Alt and the mouse wheel. Now I'm just going to start bringing some of these notes out. And to keep it realistic, you don't want the notes perfectly on grid either. So we're just going to get the pattern in and then we can adjust things further. Let's move this one over and we'll have this chord repeating. Let's add a different note here and then we can do something similar here. Yeah, that's the one. See, even this melody here just sounded catchy. So this is the main progression. I'm going to hit Alt and R to randomize the velocity. Let's get some bass notes in. So I'm feeling that. I'm going to copy it. And then to make use of the harmonic scale, we're going to be using this note just underneath the root note. But I'm thinking to just introduce it at the end of the 8 bar, just so it's not the same 4 bar pattern repeating. I'm going to turn the velocity right down so that the guitar doesn't sound like it's being played too loud. But then to compensate for it, we can just bring the volume up here. Alright, I'm feeling that. I'm going to clone it. And in this separate one, I'm going to create a top line. So with the top line, this one doesn't need to be too crazy. It can just be kind of simple. You know what? I've got an electric guitar sitting right behind me, so we might as well use it. As you can probably tell, I can't actually play the guitar. I'm terrible, but it doesn't matter because I usually just try and record something, do a bit of freestyling, and then once I find the notes that I like, I'll record individual segments and then piece it all together. Alright, so I've just chopped up the recording, so now we got this. All I did with this bit was automate the volume so it can start a bit lower. Also on the guitar, I'm just cutting out some low end and then I'm adding a bit of compression. So they can sound a bit similar. I'm going to group them together, send them to a bus. We'll add the chorus and then some reverb. And this will tie them together. I'm just going to turn the top line down a bit. Just going to add a little bit of delay as well. Just with the mix brought down. If you don't have a guitar, don't worry. You can make something similar just like this. And if we want a dark vibe like Sharks, we could even try halftime. That sounds kind of hard. Maybe on half. That sounds kind of hard. Alright, next up I want to add a pad. So I'm just going to use this Atrium preset from my Aquarius bank. And all we need to do with this one is just copy the chords. Well, let's bring this one down. There we go. Or maybe like that. I wonder what it sounds like if we pitch everything down too. Yeah, it might be better down, you know. Let's go to my one-shot kit And I think we could grab some accents in this. Let's try this one. We'll pitch it up. Maybe some halftime. Maybe this one as well, but we'll just take like one part from it. Let's fade this up. That's kind of hard. I'm just gonna quickly change this one bass note. Almost there with the melody, but I can't help it. I need to add some vocals. Yeah, just those two, you know. Then we could just add my dark vocal mixer preset. Just gonna filter it a bit more though. Alright, so we've got a couple of different parts. I always like to add a lot of layers, but then split them up in the arrangement. We need a bass though, and in Sharks, it's not your typical trap 808. It's more of a sub bass to let the guitar breathe, so we're gonna add something similar. And to do that, we're gonna use one of my secret weapons called Sublab XL, and this is by Future Audio Workshop, who've actually sponsored this video. Sublab has been a little hidden gem of mine, especially for making sounds for kits. I've been using this to design 808s and sub bass from scratch, just because they've got some really unique tools and processes, and they make it really easy to design sounds. But you don't even have to design stuff from scratch. You can see they've got tons of packs and presets for you to use. Look at this one for example. So this is one I designed. You can use various synths, import samples. Then they have their X sub technology, which really makes the sub frequency stand out. Of course, you have modulation for volume, pitch, filter, LFOs and glides, and a ton of different effects from distortion to tape, compressors, crushers, wave shapers, and noise. Check this trap 808 I made as well. You might have heard me use a lot of sounds like this in my beats, and you get that weird texture at the high end using a mix of distortion and the crusher. Like this is without, and then with. Just makes it cut through way more. But we don't need something like this for this beat, so we're gonna make something from scratch. Let's go to new preset. Could use the sine wave, or we'll try the super one. And I'm just gonna adjust things till I like the sound of it. I don't want the width to be too much, but we could keep it around 30 or 40. So we can bring the filter down. And obviously we want it to affect that synth sound. So already we've got something that sounds clean. So we've got this synth, the sample, which we just got rid of, and then you can see there's X sub. And this is something you won't find in other synths. It's kind of like a sub slash bass enhancer, but a really accurate one. So if you look, we can increase the amount of sub and the harmonics, like the main bass. You might need headphones to hear this, but this just really fattens up the low end. And then you can adjust the mixer here, so if you want more of that compared to the synth, you can just turn this up. Or you can mute it. So this is just the synth, and then this is with X sub. Like in headphones, that's a crazy difference. I'm gonna increase the attack. Let's add some noise. And then let's add some distortion. We can move those around if we want to. And then we can even adjust this, so if we don't want to distort the low end, can set it like this. Let's play it with the melody just to see how it sounds. Even that's hard. I think we can get it better though. Just bring the distortion down a bit. Yeah, maybe it needed the filter. Let's just take out some lows to the melody as well. Let's copy the whole bass pattern. Yeah, this is sounding hard. That's clean. Let's adjust the glide too. So to make it glide, we can do that. There we go. Of course, if you don't want to make your own sub bass, they've got tons of different presets you can use. I have some crazy ones, man. I really like that one I just made, so feel free to copy my settings. And if you want to do that or use any of the other presets, make sure you use the link in the description. Okay, let's get this pattern in for the drums. And then let's find the snare. Let's go for something like this Tampa one. I think we'll use this hat. Start with every 2-step. And in Sharks, it's literally just that 2-step, but we could throw a few things in to spice it up. overdo it with rolls. We could copy this, get rid of this one in the first half, and then I think just switch this one up, more like this. Just copy that. Alright, let's grab an open hat like this, and we can layer some of the kicks. Or if you want it more like Sharks, then get rid of this one and just add an open hat here. Or maybe this one. And then I'll have a different one for when the first kick hits. Copy that. Let's try this one. Maybe here. And maybe a little roll as well. Yeah, the ending sounds hard. Alright, now I want to change that first open hat, but I'm going to reverse it. Yeah, that sounds better. Okay, maybe some perks as well. Last thing I want to add is just a couple of rolls like this. Or we could try this one. With that end part there, I'm just going to copy that out, bring the velocity down, and just do a bit of a manual delay. And for the mixing, you've seen what I've done with the instruments, but for the drums, I really just level and pan them. On the master, I've got a soft clipper so that the kick can drive into it, and this is how I do everything else. So I'll have the kick as the loudest, followed by the snare, and then the hats, depending on how it sounds. Then because I've got two open hats, one's to the left, one's to the right. That was to the left, and you'll see this one panning to the right of it. And then we've only got one perk, so I might keep that to the left. There we go. And that's all it needs for the mix, man. It's really simple. Sometimes I like to sidechain the kick to the sub. I'll use kickstart, go on audio, select processing, turn on sidechain, right click and select the kick. So use this one. And I don't need so much of a pulsing effect, so I'm going to turn on a band mode, and I'm just going to have it affect everything around like 220 and below. Maybe bring the mix down a bit. Alright, I need a quick switch up for the verse, so I'm going to add halftime to the guitar. We'll take out the sub here. I even add halftime to the vocal. Yeah, there we go. This will be perfect for a verse. For this part, just because I like to use 808s, I'm going to add one here. You don't need this if you're trying to make something exactly like Sharks, but I'm going to add one. When the 808 comes in, I'm going to want to roll off more of the lows. Just switching up a bit. The bounce a bit at the end. Alright, one more thing for the bridge. I've just found this guitar lead. It was in G minor, so I've pitched it down 4. We'll go to fit tempo, select BPM, and it's 166, so this will stretch it in time. We'll send it to an insert, and then I'm just going to copy over the effects so that it blends in with the main one a bit more. This lead sounds crazy. So just keep it interesting for the bridge. And then it can go back into the hook. And then the finishing touch will just be a transition. Alright, let's have a listen from the beginning. So just starting with the guitar, half-timed. And I've just automated it to come off. Sounding hard. You could hear Lil Wayne all over this. Now we've got the strings. again. See how each thing I added just has its own space now. Now the bridge. Tali's crazy. So I hope you guys are feeling this. I could definitely hear Lil Wayne and Big Sean all over it. If you want to check out Sublab, the link's in the description. Or for more videos just like it, then click up here.